Welp, the Bucks' undefeated streak in NBA Cup play comes to an end and also accumulates in the Bucks' sixth straight loss. But this is the most optimistic I've been since Giannis went out in that Cavs game, and I'll tell you why on today's episode of Locked On Bucks.
You are Locked On Bucks, your daily Milwaukee Bucks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What it do, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Bucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the number one sports podcast network, your team every day. I'm Camille Davis, an NBA analyst with the Locked On Network and the co-host of the Technical File podcast. Appreciate you for tuning in and making Locked On Bucks that first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. On today's show, let me say happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody listening to this. Today, though, we're going to take a look at why this was the best game so far during this 4-game stretch without Giannis. We're going to take a look at the NBA Cup standings heading into Friday's pivotal game against the Knicks, and also hear an update from Doc Rivers on Giannis's status. But first, I want to talk a bit about the game flow and two players who really stood out, Myles Turner and Ryan Rollins. Bucks lose 106-103 to Miami Heat in the NBA Cup game, Group C play. Bucks have now lost 6 straight games, as mentioned, and this is the first NBA Cup game that they have lost in franchise history. When you put franchise history after something, it makes it sound so big, so serious, because it's the first time ever in franchise history. Doesn't matter that this cup is only in its 3rd year. It is the first in franchise history, but it's a game that came down to the last shot. Myles Turner had a chance to tie the game at 106, but he missed. And he had a really, really good game, so I get why that's a shot that he would want to take. It's just in real time, when I saw him loading to take that shot, I said, one more pass. I saw Gary Trent Jr. wide open next to him in the corner, but Myles decided to take that shot. Anyways, he was actually asked about that shot after the game, and I found his answer as to his thought process of taking that shot and not making that pass. So I want y'all to hear what Myles Turner had to say about that.
What player wouldn't, man? I think that's the dream in this league. You know, for me personally, I saw it after the game. You know, GT was open in the corner. It could have been a one more, but in that moment, you know, ball's coming to me. I see a late closeout. You know, I want to at least put the ball on the rim with time left. You know, it's not like I held the ball until get a buzzer beater. You know, I want to put a live ball on the rim. You know, if it goes in, great, we got the shot that we wanted. But if it doesn't, we have 3-4 seconds to make a play. So. You know, it's a tough situation because, again, I feel like at times, like, you know, in there when the ball comes to you, you know, you're thinking shot, but you have to be able to, you know, read the floor. And, I take accountability for that. I think GT was wide open, but I also feel like, you know, my position being, you know, one of the better shooters on the team, I have to take that shot.
Hearing his response, honestly, I'm not mad at it. I can understand the thought process. I still think that better shot would have been to Gary Trent, but I understand the why behind it. But that doesn't put a damper on the game that Myles Turner had, because Myles was hooping. This is arguably the best game we have seen from Myles Turner in a Bucks uniform. He finished the game with 24 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. But the best part about it was the way that he was utilized in this game. It's like he was getting mismatches in the paint, sealing off the smaller players, and then making good decisions out of it. He was shooting, being aggressive when he felt the rhythm was right. And he also was moving the ball when he was doubled or felt like he could not get the shot up in time. And hearing from Doc after the game, he mentioned that that was actually purposeful for the Bucks to make sure that they got the ball into Myles Turner, because they know this is a Miami Heat team that likes to switch. And if it's a team that likes to switch, you're going to end up with mismatches. So let's hunt them. And I thought that Myles Turner did a fantastic job at it. I want you to hear a little bit more about Doc Rivers talking a little bit more about Myles Turner's play in this game, because the way they used him was just fantastic.
Well, we knew they were switching. We knew they were going to switch all night. And what we told our guys is to be patient, not get stuck. I can't wait to watch the tape because there were about 5 times where we got stuck. I remember Ryan tried to throw an impossible pass over the top. Like if they're shading that far, swing it to the other side and attack on the other wing. But we told them before the game, every time they switch, go punish him and Bobby. We felt going in the game our size was our advantage, and I thought our guys did a great job of taking advantage of it.
And I guess just from Miles' perspective, but him taking advantage of it, like rising to the moment. For this to be one of the first times you guys have really said, "Hey, post." And
Well, they were switching everything, and we knew it. And I loved how he played. Even the last shot, I would have loved the ball to move a little more. But I that was the aggressive Miles that I'll take every night and live with it.
Since being in Milwaukee, Myles Turner's shot profile has been the most 3 heavy of his career. I think being able to get that balance and letting him work inside out is going to be good for the Bucks going forward. It's also a way for the Bucks to create those paint touches, right? When there was that mismatch and he was in the post, he was able to move the ball and find open shooters. Now, they didn't knock down all the shots, but the ball movement in the process was so good in this game, I thought, for the Bucks. The best we've seen since Giannis went out against the Cavaliers, because even the Sixers game, which was a winnable game and disappointing because they could have won the game in overtime, the defense wasn't as tight as it was in this game, which to me made this the best game that the Bucks have played since Giannis went down. In addition to this being the best Myles Turner game, I thought, again, it was another look at Ryan Rollins in this elevated role, right? He finished the game, 26 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. And it was a game where, to be honest, at the beginning, he was forcing it a bit. He was forcing the shots a little bit, but he was able to then get into the flow of the game. Like, when I say forcing shots, I mean, some of them were just like, come on, man, we got to move the ball a little bit more. But I'm not even mad at it because, again, right now, Ryan Rollins has a green light. Right now, without Giannis, without Kevin Porter Jr., he can just go ahead and test his powers at the moment, so to speak. You know what I mean? And you live with it. And you saw during the course of the game how he adjusted and understood the flow of the game. Like, some of the shots were open. Some of them were forces. So just finding that balance, right? Slow start. 12 points in the first half on 15 shots, 5 of 15 from the field in the first half. But second half, a lot more efficient. Let the game come to him. 6 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3-point, 14 points in the second half. And overall, Rollins has had his ups and downs over these last 4 games. But overall, the numbers are solid. Over the last 4 games, Rollins is averaging 23 points, 8.3 assists, 5.8 rebounds, a steal, while shooting 43.5% from the field. The thing is, the 3 ball has not been there for him during these 4 games. He has shot 27% from 3, including tonight's 4 of 14 performance. Like, he was shooting, I believe, around 46% from 3 heading into this stretch. He was in the 40s. So to see it drop to 27%, again, he's being taxed with a lot more on his shoulders. It's understandable. But I really enjoyed what I've seen from Rollins and his growth. Like, Rollins can touch paint. Rollins can finish at the rim. Put that pressure on the rim is what you need from this Bucks team. Having more guys to do that, the better. Ryan Rollins and Myles Turner were highlights in this game. I mentioned the defense as being a big reason as to why I was so excited about this performance. And I'll tell you even more after this about why this performance has been the best one so far during this 4-game stretch without Giannis. But first, a word from our friends over at FanDuel, because the NBA is in the swing of things and there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So even if you missed the start of the game or You just want to ride the hot hand? FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout. It keeps every single game exciting, especially when it's your team that's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Please gamble responsibly. And we so appreciate you for tuning in to Locked On Bucks and making it that first listen every single day. Thank you again for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network as well. And a shout out to them everydayers that be tuning in Monday through Friday and on days like this on Thanksgiving. Go ahead and play this for the fam. Get the kinfolk involved in the lovingness of Locked On Bucks during a 6-game losing streak. But there's a but to that, right? I mentioned this is arguably the best the Bucks have looked during this stretch of games without Giannis. It's a tough way to lose a game because you had the shot to end a tie, it's in overtime. It just didn't fall. I mentioned the utilization of Myles Turner was huge. Love seeing him be able to get more touches inside and work inside out. Love that. Have loved what I've seen from Ryan Rollins overall. Some struggles against Portland, some struggles against Detroit, but overall, I have liked what I've seen from him. But in this game against the Heat, what I really loved was the defense. Frank Madden tweeted out after the game, shout out to Frank, even when he's not here, he's here. You know what I'm saying? But he tweeted out that this game against the Heat was the best defensive performance of the season by defensive rating. The Bucks held the Miami Heat to a 105 defensive rating. Like, you can build off of that. And that's the piece of it. You can build from this, right? Ryan Rollins was asked after the game about how they've been doing during the stretch. And there was another question that was asked of him shortly after that about what this team has and what he's learned about this team. So I want you to hear both of those answers back to back from Ryan Rollins.
Yeah, that's the thing that we were saying after the game. We just got to look at the positive side of it. You know, I feel like that was the best we played in the last 5-6 games. Our energy was there, our defensive spirit was there. We were just guarding, contesting, just playing with energy. We kind of got our juice back a little bit, so we just got to keep that MO and keep it rolling. And we got the fight, man. We got to bring it every night. We have the fight. We have the people, the personnel to be able to, come out here consistently and have that defensive intensity and, defensive intensity basically. So we just got to come out and do it every game.
That's the part. Every game, you have got to make sure you have that right focus, that you are dialed in on what's understood of you. This was a game where the coaching staff had a really, really good plan for the team and they executed, right? And now it's about doing this more consistently going forward. Myles Turner also had some thoughts on how the Bucks need to play and also the why behind it because of how the league is also playing.
I think that we showed a lot tonight, personally. I think this is the best we've competed in the past 5-6 games, whatever it may be. Obviously it wasn't the result that we wanted, but, the competition level was there. And that's what's going to have to be our calling card, our identity, night in and night out, whether Giannis plays or he doesn't. Is just out-competing teams. It's the formula now in this league. Guys aren't just having a whole bunch of all-stars on the team and loading up. You have to have, guys that are out there with the same mentality and just, honestly, just frankly being dogs out there. And that's really what this league has evolved into.
And coming into the season, this was a Bucks team where we thought they had the makeup to be a group that exhibited that night to night. Again, without Giannis, everything is skewed. He is such a big part of how this team is supposed to play. But the reason that we have been talking about the Bucks defense here on Locked On Bucks over, the last week, 2 weeks now at this point, is because we were seeing slippage of the defense when Giannis was still healthy. Giannis is out of the lineup, and it's like I expect the offense to struggle. But the defense, I want a little bit more from the defense, and we haven't gotten it consistently. In this game against the Heat, one, the refs did let them play a bit more. Like Tyler Hero was able to grip himself into some fouls because he is just so quick. Once he feels someone has their hand in, he's going to try to bring his arms up, get that motion, get the foul call, and the refs were giving him that. But they were also letting the guys play a little bit more physical defense. It felt for the most part, like the game was being called equally on both sides. And it's a game where the Bucks didn't massively lose the free throw battle. Yay! I need to get like some sound effects. Like I need like clapping and kids. Yay! The Bucks didn't massively lose the free throw battle. Yay! Woo! Like because the free throw rate has been so bad for the Bucks so far this season. And on top of them not getting to the free throw line, they've been fouling teams a lot and sending them to the free throw line way more often. And without Giannis, their key guy that really gets to the free throw line, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle to see them get to the free throw line. But you were able to see Myles Turner, as mentioned, working inside out, using his size advantage, playing aggressive. He went to the free throw line 8 times. Well, not 8 times. He had 8 free throw attempts in the game. He made 5 of them, right? Love to see that. Rollins still not getting a great whistle at times when he's going up to the rim, but, you know, he was able to get a call in this game as well. So the Bucks finished this game 9 of 14 from free throw. Miami Heat finished 18 of 20. So the first thing you look at is the fact that, hey, the Heat only shot 6 more free throws than the Bucks. You can kind of live with that. The problem is the rate at which they were converted, right? The Bucks heading into this game were the worst free throw shooting team in the league. Not talking about volume, just talking about the actual percentage in which they make their free throws. They were around 70%, which again, last in the league. Today, 9 of 14, 64%. Even worse than their normal league average, right? Meanwhile, Miami's shooting 90% from the free throw line. That part is tough. But the encouraging part was seeing Myles Turner getting to that free throw line. The encouraging part was seeing Kyle Kuzma continuing to drive. He was 4 of 11 from the field, but he was putting pressure on the rim, which they need from him. Bobby Portis got to the free throw line, had 2 attempts. Cole Anthony had 2. We're going to talk more about Cole Anthony in a second. But before I talk about Cole Anthony, I do want to shout out AJ Green in this game. 12 points, looked like he was aggressive with his shot selection when he felt like he had a good opportunity at it. 5 rebounds, which I've mentioned before. Need a little bit from everybody, right? Especially for this Bucks team that has had struggles rebounding the basketball. A problem that's, of course, going to be even bigger with Giannis out of the game, who's leading the team in rebounds. But the thing about AJ tonight, 8 assists. 8 assists for AJ Green in this game. He led the Bucks in assists. And seeing him move the ball, getting other guys involved, has felt like he had the ball in his hands a little bit more in this game as well. A big positive. Like some of the same guys you're seeing, it's been a lot of Ryan Rollins who's been getting the buckets, so on and so forth. But to be able to see AJ Green affect the game in other ways outside of just scoring the ball, love that. Love that. Also found it fun. People are throwing more lobs to Sims in the game. It's just that some of them didn't work out, but the effort was there, and I appreciate that because if Sims is in the game, you got to get him up. Cole Anthony. I mentioned Cole Anthony. He just hasn't been good. That's the truth of it. He's been sporadic. When Cole Anthony is good, he is good, right? But when he is off, he is off. Tonight, 0 of 7 from the field, 2 turnovers, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, just 2 points. Just not a good performance from Cole. And he is somebody who feels like he's been kind of overtaxed at times in his role. But tonight, only 11 minutes. Like Doc had a 9-man rotation in this game. And Cole didn't play that much, but boy, when he was out there, you felt an impact. And Doc was asked a little bit about Cole Anthony, and I want you to hear what he had to say about Cole, because I thought it was very honest and very truthful.
He's struggling. He's struggling right now, and we have to do something to help him. He's turning the ball over and taking some really rough shots for us. We just got to keep coaching him. The kid can play. We got to keep believing in him. He gets down on himself probably too much, which leads to the next error. And so we got to find the right happy medium to get him to be able to play through mistakes.
I find it interesting, Doc making the comment of like, hey, sometimes he gets down on himself and you can see it compound. And I love the accountability of like, hey, as a coaching staff, we got to figure out the best ways to utilize them. And even if it comes to the point where, when Kevin Porter Jr. comes back, if Cole Anthony finds himself on the outside looking in the rotation, I don't quite see that happening immediately. But if it does, it's still going to be on that coaching staff to make sure that he has the right confidence and that he believes in what he can bring to the team when he does step on the floor, because it's been rough. Shot selection has to be better. The vision at times has to be better. The turnovers has to be better. But hopefully there is help on the way for the Bucks when it comes to the guard play. We're going to break down the chances for the Bucks to be able to move out of group play, because this was an NBA Cup game. And plus an interesting update from Doc on Giannis that I want you guys to hear right after this. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. So whether you're just watching for highlights, word to Adam Silver, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the bag drop. So every single time an NBA's player scores 50 points in the game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day. And you're also automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. DoorDash has you covered for late night highlights, last minute watch parties, and double overtime fuel ups. So the next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off on DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 a day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for full details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. All right, let's take a look at the NBA Cup actual standings, right? Because we mentioned the Bucks have never lost an NBA Cup game before tonight. At some point, streaks come to a close, right? At some point. So if you take a look at Group C, Bucks can't win that no more, right? They have now lost to the Heat. They're not going to be able to catch the Heat, because even if they beat the Knicks, both the Heat and the Bucks would be 3-1, and the Heat would have the tiebreaker over the Bucks, having beat them tonight. So winning the group is out. Your only hope next is somehow finding a way to win that wild card spot and advance to Vegas for the knockout round. So then the question becomes, well, who's the comp, right? Who's the competition right now in the East for this wild card spot? 4 teams in the running, including the Bucks, right? So right now in the wild card, you have the Cavaliers holding that spot down because the Raptors have clinched their group A. The Magic are in front right now in Group 2, also, or Group B, with a huge point differential of plus 61. What they did to the Sixers on Tuesday. Oh my goodness. Oh my. And then you have the Heat leading Group C right now. So those are your leaders. Now, the Magic do play the Pistons, who are one of the teams in the wild card running on Friday. So they could drop to 3-1, but they can still win the group. Your wild card teams in play: the Cavaliers from Group A, the Knicks from Group C, who the Bucks are playing on Friday, the Pistons from Group B, and then, of course, your Milwaukee Bucks in Group C as well. The problem is that of these 4 teams, Cavs, Knicks, Pistons, Bucks, the Bucks have the lowest point differential of all 4. The Cavs differential right now, plus 33. The Knicks, plus 26. The Pistons, plus 24. And then you have the Bucks at plus 13. That overtime game that they won against Charlotte hurt because the overtime points didn't count toward differential. So they didn't gain anything from that victory in the differential category, of course. So, all that being said, the hope for the Bucks to qualify as a wild card, Justin Garcia helped lay this out ahead of time too. So, with the Bucks not being able to win Group C, wild card's the way in. What they need to happen is the Hawks need to beat the Cavs, the Magic need to beat the Pistons, and the Bucks need to beat the brakes off the Knicks. Right? That's what they need to happen to kind of get themselves in that position to win the wild card. So there's still hope. There's still hope if you're a Cup stan, if you're somebody who respects the Cup and you want to see the Bucks back in Vegas for a third year in a row. Hope is still alive. They just got to handle business on Friday and get some help from some other team. So we'll see how that shakes out. Talking about respecting the Cup. You know who respects the Cup? Giannis. And if Giannis had his way, he would have played tonight. He would have played tonight. Before the game, he was listed as questionable. And it was kind of like, questionable. Is he going to play? Personally, I didn't think that he would based on Doc's comments after the last game. Because Doc was saying like, yeah, he's getting close. Him and Kevin Porter Jr., they're both getting close. But don't expect him in Miami and probably not New York as well. So tonight, he's questionable. But then he was ruled out. So in the press conference after the game, Doc was asked, hey, did Giannis have a setback or something like that to move from questionable to out? And I want you to hear Doc's answer because I'm going to tell you already, I agree with Doc.
No, I was not in favor. I was very happy we decided what we decided. I was very uncomfortable with it. He really wanted to push, and that's who Giannis is. I was very happy with our medical team today. They decided at the end of the day, let's wait. And I, obviously as a coach, I can't get involved but so much. But I told Giannis that this morning that it should be a no tonight. And then the medical team told him as well. What makes Giannis is great. It was a yes from him. We just thought it was the right thing to do. We got to protect him sometimes.
That's the key part. Got to protect him at sometimes too. We know Giannis wants to play. We know that about him, but we also don't want to risk anything. It's a long season, and Giannis is very, very important to what this Bucks team is trying to do. As we know, we've seen it. We've seen what they look like without him during this stretch. We know this is adding to that MVP case, right? Of just how bad this team looks with no Giannis and then the difference of when he's on the court. So again, if he had his way, he would have played, but the medical team decided like, let's continue to give this a break. You don't want to mess with soft tissue injuries and have them turn to anything more. So love the fact that the team was like, hey, just sit this one out again, man. We know you want to play. You're close. So like it's almost there. Also close, Kevin Porter Jr. There was new news on him as well. Kevin Porter Jr. today, no longer today, officially Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving again, folks. But on the 26th, he was assigned to the Wisconsin Herd, right? And then he was also recalled today as well. Generally, that means he got some 5v5 work in. Normally, when you get assigned to the Herd, get assigned to a G League team as an NBA player on the main roster, is to get that 5v5 reps in. So sounds like Kevin Porter Jr. is close. He's taking the right steps. Sounds like Giannis is close, taking the right steps. And when the Bucks get back, these two key ball handlers, I'm not saying it's a magic. Well, Giannis is a magic solution to everything because Giannis. But there are still areas of the team where they were struggling. The defense, as talked about, they have to make sure that they have that focus, the execution going forward. But having the ball handlers back is just going to take so much more pressure back off of everyone else on this team and allow them to go back to starring in some smaller roles next to Giannis and letting Giannis use his gravity to make their life easier in the process. So guys, we're close. I'm actually going to be curious to see if Giannis plays against the Knicks, given how much he was pushing for it in this game. As mentioned, they had to save him from himself, so to speak, tonight, but I wonder how close it is. Could we be seeing Giannis on Friday? It's a possibility. It's a possibility. So I want to thank you for making Locked On Bucks your first listen of the day. That's going to do it for today's show. For that next listen, go and check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Josh Lloyd got y'all covered. He's going to give you information, stats, and analysis to try to help you win your league. So check that out wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. I've said happy Thanksgiving a few times. I'm going to say it one more time, because on this Thanksgiving, even with the Milwaukee Bucks in the middle of a 6-game losing streak, I am thankful to be in a position to talk to y'all about the Milwaukee Bucks day in and day out. It is truly a blessing to be able to do this as my job. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. You can see it in my eyes right now. The Tigers trying to win, but the hustle is still there. But no, for real, I am super thankful for everyone who listens. Love hearing from y'all, and just thankful for opportunity and for this role. So hope you all enjoy your holiday. For those of you who find the holidays a little bittersweet for whatever the reason may be, I hope that you're able to surround yourself with love today as well. At the very least, get some rest and get some good food. So that'll do it for today's show. Truly do appreciate you for tuning in. We might be back on Friday with an episode. We might be taking it off for Thanksgiving, but keep it locked in on Locked On Bucks to find out.